All right, so here in this activity, we're going to learn how to create a chart in Microsoft Excel online. And I want to start off by reminding you, as so many of these lessons that you may have seen, that the lesson I'm completing is out of a textbook designed to have been completed using the desktop version of Microsoft Excel. So as I go through and complete this activity, we're going to find some things that we want to do may not work exactly the way that I expect them to work. So let's just go ahead and get started and tell you what a chart is. A chart is simply a visual representation of data because it allows those persons who maybe don't understand words and numbers as well as they understand pictures. It helps them to be able to understand data in with a visual representation. And there's a couple different types of charts that we're going to learn about. Probably the main types of charts are bar and column charts, which those are basically the same thing. And then there are pie charts, and then there are a couple other different types of charts, including line charts. So let's go ahead and get started with this. And again, keep in mind that some things may not go quite the way that I expect as I am teaching this lesson because of the resources I'm teaching from. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start by creating a column chart. And we want to create a column chart based upon the contents of cell A4 through E12. Now, I know that cell A4 is blank, and that is perfectly fine for that to be blank. And what we're going to do is we want to create a chart that shows the quarterly tour expenses for these countries that you see listed here. So Quest Specialty Travel conducts business in these countries that you see. And like most companies' financial paperwork is divided into 4 quarters of the year, basically 3-month periods. And we just want to be able to compare each of these countries and each of these quarters. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these cells, which we've already done, and then we're going to insert a chart. So as you might expect, you're going to go under the Insert tab, and I'm going to click this Recommended Charts button, and over here on the right, it's going to open up and it's going to analyze your data for you that you've selected, and you see some of the different chart types that are available to you. Now, this is a column chart that you see here. This would be a bar chart, but it only is showing apparently 1 field worth of data. And up here, this is showing, I can look at this and tell, this is showing 1 field worth of data. It's breaking it down by quarters, and it's only showing you one of these countries' data. But what we want to do is we want to be able to go and we want to click on column chart because that's what we really want, and we just want to select a 2D column chart. So when you click on that, it's going to take this data and it's going to break it down, and I'm going to move it over here. And by the way, that's one of the things that you need to know is how to move a chart. If you take your mouse and put it on top of the chart until you get this 4-pointed cross with arrows in the end, and you click, hold, and drag, you can drag this chart wherever you want to move it to. Now, I want to close out this pane over here so I'll have more room for this chart. And then something else that you'll need to know is how to resize a chart. Now, I like resizing a chart using a corner handle because when you use a corner handle to do so, it'll resize the chart proportionally, length and width. And again, it's just a matter of preference in determining exactly where do you want your chart to be and how big you want it to be. And again, it's got to be big enough to be read. So we've got this chart created, and of course, again, we wanted to see all countries and all quarters. And what if we wanted to see this not listed by country and then quarter, but what if we wanted to break it down by quarter and then country? What you can do is you can come over here and click this Chart Tools button. Now, note when I click on this chart, I have a Chart Tools tab available to me. And if I click right here where it says Chart, I'm going to see these options that are available to me using the online version of Excel. So, and we're going to talk about a lot of these as we go through this lesson, but this very first button that you see right here where it says Switch Row and Column, and notice how this screen tip opens up and it says you want to swap the data over the axis. So basically it's going to take these two pieces of data and it's going to flip them. So instead of taking this data and separating it first by country and then by quarter, when I click on this button, it takes it and shows it first by quarter and then by country. And you can tell by the number of bars that are here. And of course, this shows you quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So it's showing you first by quarter, then each quarter is broken down by country. And then down here in the legend, you can see which color is associated with which country. Now, I want to go back and click that button again because I want to go back to the way it originally was. And then the next thing that we want to learn about charts is we want to change this chart title. Now, in the desktop version of Excel, I would be able just to click on this chart title and it would open up and allow me to edit this. But it's not going to allow me to do it in the online version. So in the online version, I have to come over here where it says chart title, and I have to click Edit Chart Title. Now, when I do that, it's going to open up this box. It's going to allow me to change the chart title. And this chart title should be Quarterly Tour Expenses. And then once you type that in, you click OK. And then in a second or two, that chart title is going to change as you saw it change right there. So let me kind of go over with you the different parts of this chart. Down here, these labels where it says quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, this is called a legend, and it lets you know what each of these different colors, what each of these different colored bars represents. You also have a data label, which the names of the countries down here. Again, this represents data, and this is its labels. In this case, it's the countries. And over here you have on your, this is what's called a vertical axis. The data that goes up is your vertical axis, and that in this case it represents the possible dollar amounts that are represented here in this table that you see over here. All right, so we're going to do some, we're going to make some changes to this chart as we go throughout. So then the next thing we want to do is we want to go and I want to point out when you change the data that's here in this table, when you change this data, the chart will automatically update. And that's one of the cool things about this. It will do it automatically. So what I want to do is I want to go to cell A12, and it already says United States, but look what happens if I change this to USA. And when I hit enter, notice how it automatically changed over here on the chart as well. Okay, so when you change something over here, it changes over here as well. So I want to hit the undo key because I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to make the point. And when I hit the undo key, it changes back here and on the chart.